dig our new music. Welcome back to Pure Oxygen. For many Americans, the month of August means vacation. However, when one particular American, President George W. Bush, announced he would be taking the entire month off, he raised more than a few eyebrows. Now, does a stressful job like president warrant a 4-week vacation, or should the door to the White House never have a sign on it that reads, "Gone fishing"? Well, it's a question we pose to our She-Span roundtable of political contributors, Deidre Levine, Jennifer Baumgardner, and Lisa Pinto. All right, Lisa, I'm going to start with you. These are some numbers that the Washington Post came up with, all right? He's spending 31 days of rest at his Crawford, Texas ranch, right? Now, by the time he gets back next month to Washington, D.C., the calculation is that he will have spent all or part of 54 days there since taking office, in D.C. that is, add a July break in Maine, plus 38 days at Camp David, and Bush has devoted 42 of his presidency thus far to, I guess, relaxing.
But here's the thing, May. The president,
42%, right.
Yeah. The president does not have to be in D.C. to do his job. This president, it's day 16 of this so-called vacation. He's been all over the country. We've seen him chopping the brush in Colorado. We've seen him building houses for Habitat for Humanity. We've seen him
to the Harley-Davidson store today in Milwaukee. I mean, he's obviously doing important things.
Okay, working vacation, but come on. These are pretty easy things that he's doing. Just kind of schmoozing with the crowd, whatever.
Daily press briefings, daily national security briefings. And you know what? Unlike the prior administration, there are no celebrity clam bakes in the Hamptons. You know, their press corps is ticked off because they don't get to go to all these fancy beaches and follow the White House around.
Instead, they're going to the Harley-Davidson store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But there are some serious problems with the way that George Bush is going about his presidency. And one of the problems is the fact that he's taking so much time away from the very administration that he's still trying to set up. There are still so many positions that are left to be filled, and there's a lot of work to be done. You can rest assured that as many fundraisers as Bill Clinton went to in the first days of his presidency, which I won't deny, that's one of the ways that we were building a strong party. There were still important pieces of legislation that were being passed that he was working on. There are appropriations bills coming up, 13 of them that are coming up in the first 18 days back from Congress. They have to pass 13 appropriations bills, and Bush is not doing anything to try and get heads together about them.
But are you suggesting that he can do this type of work wherever he is?
And he ran. That's what he ran, is he said, I'm not a Washington insider. Unlike the Clintons, he doesn't need to hang out with
let me ask you this, Jennifer. I'll ask you this. You know, that is what he's trying to say, right? Look, I'm not from Washington.
Right.
You know, let's change the whole image of Washington. But is that really a good thing to really, sort of detract himself from the whole situation and almost saying, look, I'm not really president? You know, to me,
it's one of those things where if you feel like you're not really into him as a president anyway, you're sort of like, take the whole year off, honey. It's fine. I think he's doing this Reagan thing where he has sort of this style, and he's doing a performance art piece of
No, wait a minute. He's taken one after Reagan for chopping wood, and he sent him a photo of the big piles of wood that he actually had chopped. This man likes being on his home. He likes working in his ranch. Some people garden. Unlike the prior president, he spends time in his home state. Clinton, I defy you to name one day the Clintons spent in Arkansas on vacation.
That's true. And is this really a bad thing where, here we are in America, we work too hard, we get 2 weeks off a year, and he's trying to sort of set this sort of standard.
The average American gets 13 days off a year. That's 13 days off from work a year. And most of those days, they are still in contact with the office. So the fact that George Bush, I know, but the fact that he's taken 42%, that's 2 out of 5 days so far that he's taken.
The Post is the authority on this figure. The Washington Post, we all know where their sentiments lie. I mean, Katharine Graham was a wonderful woman, but she was the leading lady in Martha's Vineyard, where the last administration spent their entire summer. So I think that's what's going on here. We have a serious spin from the press who are unhappy. I think the report was that 2 journalists have been to Crawford, Texas. So far, it's 100 degrees. Nobody wants to
go there. On that ferry ride, but they
nobody wants to
There's at least one subject in particular in which we can see that the president hasn't taken any leadership, and that is in the Middle East. And that is at least one example where we can see very tangibly that his vacation from Washington is affecting an international issue.
Well, I think you can say that about international policy on the whole when it comes to President Bush. I will criticize that area, which he has not done the best of jobs, I think, as far as presidents go.
He's taking European vacation styles,
and 30 days a year. And I think it's really
he's not taking any.
He's not listening to what the problems are there.
The reason they don't like Bush in Europe, and there was a recent poll that said 7 out of 10 Europeans in the socialist countries, France, England. They don't like him because he's putting U.S. interests first. Well, I personally think that's a good thing.
They don't like him because
you know,
he's
I
putting
don't
U.S.
care if he
interests
speaks one
first.
first.
At the sacrifice of international
of
policy.
listen,
That's what I think. That's
Lisa,
what I
we
think.
produce 25% of the world's carbon waste. We, us, the Kyoto ban, the Kyoto
will
Treaty.
do nothing for this country.
But
David.
at least leadership is not walking away from the negotiation table.
not.
Leadership is
Oh,
negotiating.
boy.
with China.
You know what,
Economic
ladies?
downturn,
This is
you
going to
know.
be a very good season on She's Man. I can tell already. All right, we got to end it there. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Okay, let's go over to Stephanie and see what's coming up next.